Welcome back to my channel. Today, what I'm going to do is show you how to register for government contracts in the state of Texas. And if you stay tuned till the end of the video, to the end of the live, what's going to happen is I'm going to show you a bonus feature that you can utilize to have a way to bid on government contracts in Texas two separate ways. So stay tuned till the end of the video. I will give you that bonus at the end. And let's move forward. Let's get straight into it, right? So there's a couple things that you need in order to be able to bid with Texas. Number one is we're going to have to visit a website. This website is comptroller.texas.gov. It would be helpful if I actually shared my screen, right? Okay, so let me share my screen with you. That's first and foremost. Let's get that in. We'll do window. Let me see if this is helpful. We'll share, and then we'll go from there. Now, here's the portal. comptrollertexas.gov/purchasing. This is the site that you need to be on in order to bid on government contracts in Texas. And like I said, stick around for the bonus for a secondary option, right? So this is the purchasing. And every time you go to a website for a state, procurement wise, procurement also means to purchase. That's another way to say it in plain terms, in simple terms, procurement equals purchasing, right? So you should be visiting the website of the state and just doing a little bit of research. And that's very important. So so when you're on this website, you're going to scroll down, and what you're going to do is under statewide contracts, you are going to choose TxMAS, which stands for Texas Multiple Award Schedule. That is going to take you to the Multiple Award Schedule program. The Statewide Procurement Division, TxMAS program, establishes contracts to supplement SPD term contracts. This is the website where not only the government in Texas will be able to find you, but it'll increase visibility, it'll streamline your operations, you'll have access to millions of dollars in contracts. It's just all around a huge benefit. So there's some products and services that aren't accepted. Engineering services is one of them, information technology, consulting, interior design, and a few others. So, just make sure you're reading this information when you come to the website. Base contracts that are not accepted, reserves the right to accept or deny any submitted base contract. And, each state has rules that apply to that state and what you can purchase and who you can award contracts to. I'm always going to tell you to read. That is one of the biggest things, and I will always push that because you have to read your contracts, right? So here's a schedule we're going to fill out an application to get us in the system. The statewide procurement division will only accept Texas MAS offer packet applications during the first month of each quarter in accordance with the following schedule, right? So right now, technically for Texas, it is Q4, quarter four. You can submit an application between June 1st and June 30th. Someone will be at that desk, at that office to receive the application and approve it or deny it, right? Anything after that, it's probably going to linger around until September. There's a deadline here for a reason for the application process. Maybe they don't have enough people in the office. Maybe they're understaffed. So you want to look at the quarter and the information that they're giving you. Right now, they're in Q4, June 1st to June 30th. So that means you have 10 days to get this done. to get into the comptroller website, comptroller.texas.gov/purchasing, in order to get this application submitted so you can move on and bid on government contracts, right? So just know it does not guarantee um, that it'll be approved, but I'm going to make sure that I give you all the information that you need so that you can fill this out correctly so that it doesn't get rejected. Another thing, here is where I'm going to write this down. TxMAS offer at cpa.texas.gov. That's where we're going to send the application to that we're going to go ahead and fill out, right? So what we want is the offer packet application. It's going to download in PDF form. I have already downloaded it. And this is what it looks like, right? From start to finish. Once again, you need to read. You're filling out an application for an award schedule. It's an offer packet application. Like I said, it gives you increased visibility. Agencies can find you, streamline procurement. Once approved, government buyers can directly buy from you. Now, there's some requirements here, and I'm going to go over them with you, and you know I am. So, applicant must meet the following requirements to be considered for an award: submission of a competitively awarded base contract from a governmental entity with a minimum of 1 year remaining. So, see here for base contracts not accepted. The base contract must be suitable for general use by Texas Comptroller of Public Accounts. Customers are not specific to a geographical location or limited use to a specific entity. So what that means is it is okay to live in New York State and bid on work in Texas. You know, customers are not. There's a typo there. Customers, it should say, are not specific to a geographical location or limited in use to a specific entity. So it could be an LLC, it can be a S corp, it could be multiple different entities, and you don't have to live in that state in order to bid on the work. So here, during the review process, applicant will be provided an opportunity to correct errors in the submitted catalog. Repeated errors in the catalog submission will be grounds for rejection of the offer packet. You want to triple, quadruple check your work. And also, if there's errors, you're going to have issues getting paid. You don't want problems getting paid. Okay. If you are awarded a government contract, right, and you execute that work and it is time to get paid and something in your application is not correct, and it's along the lines of W-9, taxes, bank account information is incorrect, that is going to delay your process of getting your money. And you are going to be extremely frustrated when all you had to do was look, pay attention, and triple check your work. Anything with the government, even documents that you're signing in your personal life, should be triple checked because you never know what you're signing off on, right? You don't want a delayed payment. You're going to be extremely frustrated and annoyed that you let that happen. So please triple check your work, please. Submission of this right here is just saying that Texas can make a can approve an award based off of sole discretion to authorize offline sales. Submission of base contract sales report for the most recent 12-month period. Um, Texas will not accept free onboard origin shipping terms for contracts for goods. Application agrees to FOB destination terms and retains risk of damage or loss, and is therefore responsible for replacing damaged or lost goods until the goods have reached their destination. So what FOB means This is a shipping term, freight term. It means free on board. And what that means is the I want to explain this in the correct way. The shipping cost goes into the quote. You don't separate it. You don't give a quote and then give a delivery quote. The delivery and the quote of the product or service go together as one. That is what free on board means. Okay, so not a separate, you're not going to put on one line lawn services $10,000 and then put out another line delivery $5,000. You're going to put $15,000 on the line of lawn services. It all goes together. That is what free onboard means. So number 6 is Texas secretary, and it mentions too. Applicants agree. Sorry, I'm going to go back to 5. Applicant agrees to free onboard destination terms and retains risk of damage or loss. 10 times out of 10, the subcontractor that you're working with or you yourself have insurance to cover these kinds of accidents, spills, breaks, um, stolen property. All of this is covered in either your insurance or the subcontractor's insurance. Texas Secretary of State registration or registration in applicant's formation state, active franchise tax registration with CPA, an applicant's past performance will be considered during evaluation of the packet. Now, a lot of the times with government contracting, you're going to be asked for past performance, right? If you do not have your own past performance, you can use your subcontractor. There is nothing wrong with that, okay? You can, if your sub has past performance, but you just started your company, you're only 5 months in, you don't have any past performance of your own, it is okay to use your subcontractor's past performance. Okay, so just know that just because you don't have past performance doesn't mean you can't come out here and bid on government contracts and win, right? So don't think that. Okay, don't think that you don't have to use your own past performance. For me, I do have past performance in the trucking industry, and that's okay. I have reference sheets that I can utilize. And if it's not in the trucking industry, my subcontractor will be able to have references for the previous work that they've done. This just states that applicant may be required to provide references for a contract in similar size and scope. And then SPD may request additional information during the evaluation of the offer packet. Does not receive the requested information by the deadline provided. The offer packet may be rejected. An applicant will not be eligible to submit a new application offer packet for similar or same good services. So that's why they gave you the timeline schedule of each quarter in the previous right here, applying for the contract. They gave you this for a reason, because now in the application it is stating that if we don't receive the requested information by the deadline provided, the offer packet may be rejected and applicant will not be eligible to submit a new one um, for a period of 180 days. So if you miss that deadline after June 30th and you are trying to put in an application, it's going to sit and you're going to have issues. Like you're not going to be able, if you, excuse me, submit it after June 30th, it's going to sit until September 1st. And this right here just says that you are not guaranteed an award if you fill out this application. So now this is the actual application part of it, um, the application information. And this is what I'm telling you to triple check. Can you hear me okay? Give me a thumbs up in the chat if you can hear me okay. All right, so we're going to start here. I use Adobe. A lot of people in the government contracting space do. It's an easy professional way to put documents together. You can also use PDF filler. I love PDF. I love PDF puts all your documents together into one. so that you can submit it to the government and you won't have to submit it one page at a time. So those are helpful sites, but I really like Adobe. It helps you organize pages. There's a lot of tools on Adobe that are helpful, right? So whenever I open a PDF, it automatically interchanges me to Adobe. So that's how that happened. Uh, so we're going to put, excuse me, applicant's full legal name. Whoa, right? Now, here in this situation, base contract and base contract number, if you're trying to bid on a Texas government contract and you already have your eyes focused on that bid, you can put the description here and you can put the base contract here, the number, because each government contract has its own specified digit code, numeral text that they use to analyze and kind of keep all of their bids organized and documented properly, if that makes sense. It's just a way for the agencies to stay organized. So in this situation, I'm going to put a contract here, which is so if you didn't have a contract that you were looking at for Texas, right, you would just put NA for both of these. You wouldn't have to put a base contract number or a service description. So let's do that, and then we'll do a right, and that's just something I'm looking at right now. So I just put that in there. That's if you have your eye on a bid, but if not, just put NA, right? Put the expiration date. Let's put 2019. Living in the past, girl. 1 year. Now, all that information I just put in there is what the contract that I'm looking at states to me. That's how I know that information. Um, Previous, this is NA. Now, here it asks for Texas Federal EIN. But what we're going to do is we're just going to add the one that I have from New York State. And then after, in parentheses, I'm going to put that it's from New York State, right? Because there's no issues with working with Texas while living in New York State. So it's not a big deal. Let's just put whatever, and then New York State EIN. That is to notify them that that is not a Texas EIN. So it doesn't flag me, and when they look it up, it says, "Oh well, she's missing she doesn't have an EIN in Texas." I just like to put as much information as possible to help someone understand that I need to get this application approved so I can help you help me, right? Okay. Mailing address, you're going to put your business address there. You're going to put your home address there. That's your mailing address. Physical address will most likely be the same. Your business address, if they're different, right? Authorized representative, which is you, or if you have a partner, they can also sign based on who owns a percentage of the company. They're going to ask, excuse me, for a authorized representative title. Are you the CEO? Are you a sales agent? Are you in engineering? And then your contact information, phone number, and email. And then do you have an alternative contact, someone that they can reach out to if they can't get a hold of you? And here's something that's shocking. Even with all the courses and classes that I've taken, I've heard from a lot of procurement specialists and agencies that it is very tough to get a hold of people after they have won a contract. Not all companies, right? But 25% of companies are hard to get a hold of after they were awarded. Some people, they just bid and go, kind of. And, you know, a lot of what we're working on is pending. So you submit something, you move forward, that job can still be pending. So you have to think about the information that you put on here. Are you somebody who changes your phone number a lot? If so, that might not be a good look to work in government contracting. You might want to consistently keep your same business phone number or email. Are you someone who's constantly switching emails? Like 1 month you have this email, second month you're with another domain, you have another email. That's going to be hard for the agencies to find you and award you work. And you do not want that, right? But 25% of companies are very hard to get a hold of after the fact of winning a contract. If they send you a purchase order after you're awarded, who does that purchase order go to? In my case, it's me. So I would put my email. Are you okay? And then accounts payable email as well, right? So that's the second page of what we're doing. And once again, we're going to read required documents, label them accordingly, and offer package submission, right? The offer packet consists of the documents listed below. All documents should be in Microsoft Office. Once again, follow directions. Okay. The documents have to be submitted in Microsoft Office format, Word or Excel. If you put them in a PDF, the application is going to get rejected and you out of there. All right. Today, when we was at the softball game, the umpire kept saying, "See ya." It's going to be a whole lot of see ya if you do not follow directions. Okay. It says right here, it's got to be in Word or it has to be in Excel. Okay. So please follow directions. Or in a form that may be read by Microsoft Office software, which is probably like PowerPoint, but that's just a guess. Encrypted documents or links to documents on an external server are not allowed without prior written approval from CPA. All documents must be submitted by email to boom, right? This is the email where this application is going. Here we go, right here. If it's incomplete, it's rejected. See ya. That's that's just what it is. Like, and they're telling you that if you don't complete it properly and there's boxes missing or things aren't checked off, we're not even going to deal with you. They probably have so many applications at this point that they're just like, listen, you make one critical error and we're done. Okay, we're walking on. There's a thin line that you're walking on with Texas, okay? Because they're not playing with you. It's subject to immediate rejection if anything is missing, right? All right, so here are the things you need. Sign offer packet application, which is what we just went over up here. We need that. Base contract original award notice, right? Base contract original solicitation. This is if you are, like I said, looking at a bid that you're interested in working on with Texas. You can put that there, the original solicitation. Base contract response to solicitation, that's your RFP. Base contract terms and conditions. All contracts have terms and conditions, at least the ones that I've seen. Um, any amendments or modifications, which just means like changes to the contract. And you have the opportunity to press yes or NA. Base contract exceptions, current base contract price list. That's your bid list. Usually they'll send you like a bid table that you have to fill out your pricing on. So your bid should be completed and be ready to send, or I'm sorry, be ready to send to Texas by this point. This is what all these documents are. Completed Texas SmartBuy catalog, and then the base contract sales report for the most recent 12-month period to include date of sale, customer name, goods and services, and total sales per good service. If performing work in customer facility, certificate of insurance or insurance statement of intent that meets requirements of the Texas terms and conditions. Will the applicant be utilizing dealers? Oh, excuse me. If yes, dealer authorization and acceptance forms will be sent afterward and must be completed for each authorized dealer. What I believe that this means is it has something to do along the lines of subcontracting, right? So we're going to double check something together because it's very important to me that I give you the correct information. Thanks for your patience too. A firm that acts as a regular dealer on one contract may not necessarily act as a regular dealer on other contracts. For example, a firm that acts as a regular dealer on contract number one may act simply as a transaction expediter or broker on contract two. So I figured that this had something to do with subcontracting. So you get to choose yes or no. Applicant must identify any requested exceptions taken in the terms and condition. Applicant must clearly identify each exception taken, noting the specific section number and titled. So is there any exceptions to what they put in the terms and conditions? If so, you need to state yes or no. CPA may reject an incomplete exception without consideration. Oh, wow. They tell you right here exceptions are discouraged and rarely granted. So each agency will put terms and conditions into place, and that's basically them telling you what they're going to deal with and what they're not going to deal with. Okay, if you got a late delivery and it's coming in here late and you don't contact us in 24 hours, that shipment, see ya. That shipment is see ya, right? So they're very clear on that. It's in bold text. You know, they're discouraged and they're rarely granted. So you want to look over that and make sure. We're also going to look that up, the terms and conditions. Vendor agrees to free onboard, yes. Freight included in pricing, yes. Freight added as a separate line item. So they give you the choice here, actually, which I don't really understand because this is the correct answer. Freight included in pricing. That's what FOB means. But they give you another option to add it as a separate line item, which in this situation, it makes it no longer FOB. Um, but that's their business, not mine. Child support obligation certification under 231.006 Family Code. The vendor or applicant certifies that the individual or business entity named in this contract bidder application is not ineligible to receive the specified grant, loan, or payment, and acknowledges that this contract may be terminated and payment may be withheld if this certification is inaccurate, right? Any applicant subject to sections Texas Family Code must include names in the last four digits of social security numbers of each person with at least 25% ownership. So if you're the sole owner, that's your information. If you share your company joint venture and there's two people, one owns 49%, the other owns 51, both of your names and your social security numbers, last four digits, need to go here, right? So this is the end of the application. Once again, you got to read. You have to read all of this. Um, by submitting this, it's just saying that you're authorized to sign the documents on behalf of the bind application. You certify that the information on the document is accurate and that you reviewed the terms and conditions. And then you would print name, date, and it's really nice that you don't need a notarized letter, which I really like. Um, so that is the application process, right? For Texas Multiple Award Schedule Offer Packet application. Once you get this back, you are going to be able to bid on government contracts in Texas right away. When I say right away, right away, but make sure you're paying attention to the deadline, okay, and utilizing the information that they're giving you. You have to read. Now, all right, I told you I was going to give you a bonus, but first, let's look this up. Um, I want to look up the terms and conditions so we can actually look over them. We might be able to find it in here. Oh, excuse me. Oh, right here. Terms and conditions. These are basically like rules and regulations. This is something that you should be reading as well. Um, this is what they will approve and what they will deny. Rules and regulations. What we'll say yes to, what we'll say no to. This is basically their rule book if you want to bid with them. I'm not reading all of this, okay? Background, contract documents, purchase orders, dealers, audit requirements, taxes, terms and termination. So much information. This is Texas rules. This is their rule book. Communication, limitation of authority, limitation of liability, servability. Okay, so you're going to have to breeze through this. Before you work with any state agency, you need to read this. This is important. If you're a business owner and you're skipping over documents and you're not reading them, you're going to have trouble down the line with staying organized in your business. You don't want to put yourself in any predicament where you said, oh, well, I thought this. Well, you need to know 100% what the stipulations were off bat before you even decide to bid on any contract in Texas, right? So let's just pick one to look at. Vendor performance. Let's look at 22. CPA must use vendor performance to analyze whether a vendor is eligible. CPA may conduct reference checks with the other entities regarding past performance. That means that the references that you give, they can actually reach out to them and have a conversation about your past performance. These reviews and any resulting classification grades may be posted online. Yeah, so that just says that they are allowed to call your references. These reviews and any resulting classification grades may be posted online, and a lot of information is public. We'll look at one more. So yeah, this is a pretty big list. This is ChatGPT would be helpful for this. You can copy and paste and get it in simple terms to be able to help you move forward quicker. Uh, So no felony or criminal convictions. Contractor represents that neither contractor nor any of its employees, agents, or representatives, including any subcontractor, and employees, agents, or representatives of such subcontractors has been convicted of a felony, criminal offense, or that as such conviction has occurred. Contractor has fully advised CPA of the facts and circumstances surrounding the convictions. This is a big one, okay? If you have a felony and you bid on a contract, 10 times out of 10, you're not winning that contract because in the terms and conditions, it states that you cannot have a felony in order to um, move forward. This is just for Texas, okay? So do not get discouraged, all right? Do not get discouraged because not every state says this, especially more leaning towards federal. They don't look at these kinds of things, but each state and each agency has different terms and conditions, right? Yes. So this is the terms and conditions. Make sure you look over this, please. I want you to win, but I don't ever want you to be in a situation where you win a government contract and you can't move forward with it because you didn't read the terms and conditions of what is needed and understood of your company. So yeah, I wanted to look that up before we did that. And then for me, oh well, that's not going to work because my screen is not on. Okay, wait. This is what I was just talking about. These are the terms and conditions you just heard me go over. All of this right here. You need to read this. This is very helpful. Okay. Terms and conditions. This is the rule book. You got to read it, got to go over it. So, what you just heard me talking about when my screen wasn't on, this is what I was referring to. Okay. I just wanted to go over that. Now, I promised you that I would give you a bonus, right? Another way for you to be able to bid on government contracts that is not through the state portal. There is another way, and I'm going to show you right now. Okay. Bonfire is a platform that state agencies utilize so that they can basically use Bonfire like a job board for businesses, right? And you're going to get the ability to work with state agencies in Texas on Bonfire. And that is a secondary option that you have that is fantastic. So let's see. Let me share my screen again. Help. All right. I'm going to do. All right. We'll do window. Sorry. All right. So Bonfire, basically, what you're going to do is you're going to go on there and you're going to create an account. I will share another video on that later in the week. But this is the portal. Once you submit an application for Bonfire, I'm just going to show you this really quick. You're going to put some account details. Now, Bonfire is a free platform that helps you bid with state, local, and counties, right? So you're going to have to create an account with an email and a password. Then you're going to give them all of your business info, right? All the things, business name, contacts, first name. But then you're going to do something that's going to give you commodity codes, right? Commodity codes are basically your NAICS codes. You'll be able to enter that into here, whatever industry you are in under your NAICS code. And your NAICS code is the North American Industry Classification System. That tells what industry you are interested in bidding in, right? So is it shipping containers? For me, y'all know it's transportation, right? So it's already successfully saved. Every single time now, every single time a transportation or an equipment manufacturing comes along or any other transportation, it will be emailed to me based off of the email that I gave when I signed up for the account. Now, whether that is, so what happens is if there's a transportation bid and it is in Texas, it will be sent to me via email. And if I am not enrolled with that county, Bonfire will help me to do that. The agency will ask for a little bit of information on my end, and I will put in all that information, and then I will have access to bid in that county through Bonfire. So I won't have to go to the county or state website. I can do it right through Bonfire. And you know what? Next to sam.gov, I love Bonfire. It's very easy to use, right? So Location settings, obviously, if you're in Canada or the US, you're going to put US. This is a big one, time zone. Please be careful with this because what happens is every contract has a deadline. You're going to have to make sure that you're paying attention here because you want the time zone. If it's on default, it'll just go based off of what your computer originally states. Okay, it'll pick up that information for you. So be careful here because you don't want to bid on something that the timeline is already 3 hours past because you have the time zone incorrect. Users, which is me, and I'm going to do a video on this, so don't worry, how to get into Bonfire, how to get into agencies, but this is fantastic information, right? And then opportunities, invites from agencies, and messages, okay? So now there was a time when there was a transportation bid that was open that was sent to me via email, and it was for the Texas Department of Transportation. That is how I got involved with them. And I was also able to see, I want to see what, I'll do it in a second, but right here, this is Bonfire. All of these jobs are active right now, all of these contracts. Days left, 1 day, 2 days, 4, 5, 6. This is all active work and what they are spending money on at the DOT in Texas. Electrical maintenance, aviation insurance, janitorial services, overhead door and electronic gate. Look at how many of these there are and how different they are. El Paso District Hall Truck Rental, right? That's right up my alley. Um, Pest control services, purchase of loaded wheel asphalt, roadway sweeper. I mean, there's just so many. 13 days this is due. You can view the opportunity in Bonfire and also submit it in Bonfire, right? Window replacement. Do you own a window company? Do you replace windows? That's the one for you, even if you don't live in Texas. Marketing and advertising, vehicle maintenance, pavement. I mean, look at, there's just so many, right? And this is just the Department of Transportation in Texas. Do you own a fencing company? Roof replacement company? That's a good one right there. That's a popular one, replacing roofs. There's a lot of good roofing companies out there. All right, so now I'm going to look at my agencies and Bonfire, and every time they send me a notification based on my NAICS code, trucking industry, or containers, or whatever it might be, right? Every time they send me something to my email, I open it. If I am not active with that county, I get active in Bonfire right away because it's the easiest way to submit and it's very helpful for you to document things in Bonfire that show you actually bid it because you don't want to be in a situation where somebody's like, hey, um, we never got your bid. Bonfire will keep it in the system and let you know that that bid was submitted, right? It'll tell you the time, everything you need to know. My goodness, my throat is dry. I was yelling and screaming out there today. Oh my goodness. All right, so let's look at my agencies. Okay, some of the statuses are incomplete, but here are the ones that are active. Texas Department of Transportation. That only makes sense because I am a transportation company. Why would I not partner with Texas DOT? That is a setup for success. I want to be in their system. That's genius. So that whenever they have an opportunity, they can say, hey, this is something that is a good fit for DD Logistics. She already has her NAICS code. She already has everything that she needs in the system. Her status is complete. Let's forward her the work. That is why I love Bonfire. And now you have to think about it too. How many counties are in Texas? So I'm just looking up. 254 counties in the state of Texas. And what's crazy is That's 204 agencies, or I'm sorry, 254 agencies that have a budget to spend on services and products. So Texas Department of Transportation is just one. What about all of the counties, 254 of them in Texas? There is no way you can come into government contracting and not eat and not change your life. If you do this properly, you can win. Okay, you can win government contracts, you can change your life, and you can do this. That's why I say things like, whatever you're thinking that's good, you've got to think bigger, bigger, like huge, like delusional huge, because it works, right? And the sole purpose of this channel is to really inspire and educate on a topic that can help you change your life and your family's life. So Hillsborough County, City of Palm Bay, these are all ones that I have. City of Dallas, it's another one in Texas. Pasco County, that's Texas. NFTA. So these are just all the ones that I have that are in Bonfire, and they send me um, bids to my email every day. And when I say every day, I mean every single day. So that's two separate ways that you can bid on government contracting, right? And there's just so much for you to choose from. So much for you to choose from. It's just actually overall a blessing, right? So let's take a look really quick at what Dallas, Texas is spending their government funds on. Smoke alarms, utility vehicles, these have 1 day left. And this is what I mean when I say you should have at least 14 days. The bid decision checklist will help you to find the perfect bid for you. I will put it in the chat. It is in the description of my bio, but it helps you to not bid on just any random thing, right? It'll help you to figure out what is the best situation, best government contract for you to bid on, because as you can see, there are so many. This can get overwhelming. You need to know what I have to do in order to be able to move forward and pick a good contract for me, right? Because once you get on a contract and you start to read it and you start to spend time on it, it's hard to pull away. Do not fall in love with contracts, okay? If you see something in the contract in the first couple of days that you're reading that you don't like, you need to move forward. All right. If there's some kind of term and condition stipulation that you don't like, that's why you need to read the contract first, because you don't want to get weeks down the line bidding on this work and figuring out that the agency wants something that you or the sub can't provide. It's going to be a mess. All right. Learn to let go and walk away. Learn to let go and walk away from government contracts. Do not get all hyped up in them until it is time to execute. Then you need to cradle it to the grave. You need to hold it, you need to rock it, you need to feed it, you need to rub its back. You need to do all of that once the work is awarded. That agency trusted you to move forward with that work, and you need to execute and show that you can do it, right? And it is not hard, okay? I don't care what people tell you. It's not hard to win or execute a government contract. You just have to be sharp and organized. All right, bond traffic signal, lubrication pumps, purchase of new products. That's different. I've never seen that before. Purchase of new mother products. Let's look at that really quick. What is that? That might be like baby bottles, or that actually, excuse me, that actually could be for labor and delivery at the hospital. Let's take a look at that really quick. All right, so purchase of new mother products. This is interesting. ITB, intent to bid. There's 6 days left. It gives you all the information: status, ongoing, location, description, dates. And then if you look here, commodity codes, that's your NAICS code. If you have that in your bonfire account, you are going to get a notification about this bid. Yeah, see, labor, that's why I said labor and delivery, nursery supplies, infant, baby powder, lotions, oils, cream, pads. I figured that for the hospital. So, what are they really looking for? General conditions for IFS. I'm actually looking for the bid document. What is that at? I think it's, yeah, this is the solicitation, right? Oh, no, we're not doing that. Mm-mm. Nope. Something about a virus? I think not. Wait, what did that say? This file has not been scanned for viruses. Are you sure you want to download? Nope, don't want to download. Seen enough. But um, yeah, I figured that was labor and delivery. So if you are a company that can offer nursery supplies, miscellaneous, feminine personal hygiene, tampons, pads, belts, creams, oils, lotions, this is a contract for you out of Dallas County. That one's different. I don't think I've ever seen that before. There's nothing that shocks me. There really isn't. There's so many different things that the government spends money on. There's just so many, right? Valves, food truck incubator, drug and alcohol testing, pump station house. So yeah, they're spending a good amount of their funds on all of this stuff, right? Let's look at another agency. So I'm going to stop sharing for a minute, but this is what I wanted to show you. These are two key ways to bid on government contracts in the state of Texas. One is through the comptroller site. The other is through Bonfire. Okay, there is so many different bids out here that you can bid on and successfully win. Okay, I want you to win whatever you are bidding on, and it's all going to work out for you. Okay, I cannot say that enough. It is a situation where if you put the work in, it's gonna work out, because that's how it was for me, right? You want to make sure that you're running your business in an organizational way, but when you come into government contracting, you're utilizing this tool in government contracting to change your life, because that's what it's going to do. It's going to change your life, right? Whether it's a micro purchase, a big federal purchase. And as a broker, for me, I think about volume a lot, right? Because anybody can move one load, but can you move 30? Can you move 40? Can you move 50? So it's not really about the contract value amount. People say things like, oh, I won a $50 million contract, but how much of that was profit? Be honest. How much of it was profit and how much of it was what you got to keep? You know, a lot of people don't disclose that information, but even if you win micro purchases, things that are under 25,000, if you win that once and then win that 5, 10 times more, you're set. You're set. And what I love about government contracting is it's not going anywhere. Doesn't matter who the president is. Doesn't matter what's going on in the White House. It's not going anywhere. They still have a set amount of funds set to the side in order to bid on services and products that they need. Okay? I love you. Whatever you are thinking that is good, I need you to think bigger. Okay? Grab my bid decision checklist. The link is in the bio. It will also be in the description. Okay? I want you to win. Whatever you are thinking, that is good. Think bigger. We'll talk soon. Bye.